Welcome back, and to highlight the summit that the summit that is being held right now, and that was addressed by the President, the African Union Peace and Security Council Summit. We have with us over the phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good evening, good afternoon, Your Excellency.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you so much. And just a few minutes ago, the President addressed the African Union Peace and Security Summit that is being held over the Sudanese crisis. Let me see, or let me know, your reading to the statements that were said by the President.
I hope all success for the efforts of Egypt, our President, and the African Union also, because we have plenty of challenges around us in many countries. But Sudan is a very special case. The problem in any country when it is divided among tribes and parties, then a dear friend from an eminent country in Africa said when the parties are indifferent, they ask the army to take over. In Sudan, the army cannot take over because the army itself, it is divided among two parties and they are fighting each other. Here comes the disaster. And we hope that we can help them to believe that the one united country is much more important than a divided one among many tribes. And this is the disease in Africa, where many people do not look to the united country and they look to their tribe only or their party. This is the problem we are facing. And then it comes to the Security Council of Africa and its efforts. Here our President is giving Africa much more attention, and I am happy for that because Egypt really has a big weight in the African continent. We are accepted everywhere. We are represented in all the African countries. And I enjoyed serving in Africa, and I was treated differently. No European or ambassador coming from any superpower can match the Egyptian ambassador in any African country. Why? Because we are African. Why? Because we are Muslims, and Al-Azhar has an important name there. Why? Because we have the Eastern Church, which is represented in many African countries. Why also the history? Many African tribes would tell you that they have Egyptian origin and they are proud of that. So we have all the ground which from we can start our efforts in order to make and to settle the peace problems in many African countries. And of course, Sudan is one important problem, but there are many problems either among different African countries or in the same country where parties and tribes are fighting each other.
Let me read, Your Excellency, some of the statements that were said by the President. The President spoke about efforts that were exerted or are exerted within the framework of the African Union from one part, from the Arab League on the other hand, that has already given recommendation of the formation of a group, a ministerial group that would put its vision towards solving the crisis. Also other efforts and agreements that were signed, particularly the Jeddah agreement, in which both sides were committed to a ceasefire and the return or opening corridors for humanitarian aid. But the President here spoke about the importance of integrating all those efforts together. Your Excellency, how do you view that? Or how do you view the importance of that?
Very important, because if you coordinate your efforts with others, then you get better results, of course. Because sometimes we are helping some parties by giving them finance, or other parties by giving them food, or by political support. No, we have to gather all these efforts together in order to have one initiative coming from all those who are trying to make Sudan one Sudan and united and a peaceful one. So it's not easy, but I see your point, and really coordinating the efforts is very important step towards success.
We're speaking here about coordination in terms of all efforts that are being exerted, particularly of what concerns the regional bodies, states, and even international bodies at large. From your point of view, how would there be a kind of vision that would really help the diminishing of the real reasons behind the escalation,
yes,
particularly that we are speaking about the importance of finding a Sudanese solution from within the Sudanese parties?
Yes, yes. I think Egypt is in a good position to do this job, because after all, we are a member of the United Nations system. We were among those who established the system. We are among the Arab League countries who established the Arab League. We are also one of the main countries of the African Union. So we can use this. We can use also, don't ignore the Council of Islamic Cooperation, because they finance many African countries also. So if you combine this through the Egyptian diplomacy, I think you can reach a reasonable position and you can do the job. But I must say, although I am optimistic, but here I have my reservations, because the problem is not that easy. And we must be a good listener to all the fighting parties in Sudan, to listen to them. What do you want? Because maybe what they want can be accepted by the other party, and we can make the connection between all of them. Then we propose a final settlement in order to satisfy 90% of the needs of each side. Then we come to peace, and we come to a good settlement for the situation.
Yes, President Sisi, when he spoke about certain points that should be the focus of any integrated work. The first would be reaching a permanent ceasefire and a total stop to escalation. The second would be the importance of preserving the national institutions in Sudan, which is the backbone of really to protect the country. The third would be the non-interference of external partners, except for what would be of beneficial. So the solution should come from within. Definitely, the fourth would be the humanitarian aspect, because it's becoming hilarious, the situation in Sudan. How do you view those points?
Very complicated, and you have many tasks, and this makes your life not that easy, because as you rightly said, although we are trying to reach peace and good stability in the country, but during you are doing that, there are people who cannot find their food for their day. They cannot sleep in their places, and they are trying to leave the country, and our border is flooded by Sudanese. It is estimated that we have now 5 million Sudanese, 4 million before, and we received another 1 million during this.
No, we just received officially 150,000 Sudanese people in this crisis, but definitely we have millions of Sudanese who are residents in Egypt.
Plenty of tasks. You have to feed them. You have to find places for them to live. At the same time, you have to stop fighting there. And you have to see how the attacked places, or houses which was destroyed. There are many tasks you have to do. Then it is a matter of a good diplomacy. And I think a country in the size of Egypt, we can, of course, by the efforts of our foreign office, the diplomacy, by the efforts of our army, even our Ministry of Interior, it has a role. Our experts have a role to participate there. And as I said, really, I cannot in 1 minute explain what I want to say, but
yes.
It is highly complicated, and we have to deal with many, many details, because they say always the devil is hidden behind the details. You have to take care of all the details, because sometimes a small move here or there can make your life much better or can make a war.
Your Excellency, here when we speak about humanitarian aspects, and it's not just reflecting on the suffering of Sudanese people inside Sudan, but also reflecting on the lives of their neighboring countries. How do you view the importance of resolving this crisis as soon as possible in the interests of the Sudanese people themselves, and how important is it for Sudan to come back to the life scene stable and secured?
It is another dimension. You are right, absolutely right. And then countries like Kenya, like Congo, like Ethiopia and Egypt, all the neighbors, Chad also, all the neighbors of Sudan are suffering from this situation, because we don't know those who are flooding our borders. Who are they? Most of them, of course, are people who are running out of the country because of the war situation, but maybe some of them are terrorists. You don't know. How can you know that he is Sudanese or not? Their documents are not in order. Many things you have to put in your mind while dealing with this. It is a war after all, and in the war you do not have the luxury of being sure of everything you want to make sure about.
What is requested from the Sudanese sides at this very particular juncture?
This is the main question. We are trying to convince them to stop fighting. This is the first step. Second, to accept our help and to help those who are homeless, those who are not cannot find their food, those who cannot find a place to stay. We want them to be humanitarian, to treat their own brothers in the same country. As Egyptian, I cannot imagine really that. Thank God that I cannot imagine that one day an Egyptian will be fighting an Egyptian. This is ridiculous, and we are
with
trying
God's
to.
will, we are. We are together for as long as we live.
Yes, yes. So we are doing our best, and I think we move one step every day until we reach something to stop this crazy war.
Well, that is our hopes for our brothers in Sudan, to stay safe and to stay secured and to have their own independent state with its national institutions. Your Excellency, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you. Before we move on with our discussion, let's have this quick report. And President Sisi has received the Omani Sultan in Egypt in his first visit to Egypt since assuming the responsibility. Let's watch.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and visiting Sultan Haytham bin Tariq Al Saeed of Oman stressed keen interest in boosting historic cordial relations binding both Egypt and the Sultanate of Oman. The statements were made during summit talks between the two leaders that were held at Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace. President Sisi hailed the historic ties between Egypt and Oman, saying that they were shaped along decades of solidarity and joint Arab action in facing crises and challenges. Sultan Haytham is on a two-day official visit to Egypt, his first to Egypt since he assumed power in January 2020. Presidential spokesman Ahmed Fahmy said that President Sisi welcomed Sultan Haytham, wishing him success in leading his country's drive to achieve Oman's 2040 vision. Fahmy added that the head of state stressed Egypt's interest in upgrading ties with Oman in a way that could achieve the best interest of the two Arab nations and their peoples. For his part, Omani Sultan Haytham hailed the distinguished ties between Egypt and Oman, saying that he looked forward to boosting them and for building on the positive outcome of President Sisi's recent visit to Oman in June 2022. The two sides tackled means to exchange expertise in achieving institutional development and modernizing the administrative apparatus. Fahmy noted that the two Arab leaders also discussed further consultations on regional and international issues of mutual concern.